are the very best. You bring the light in my eyes, the sun in my sky. Ooh, oh, oh, oh. Girl, if you only knew how much this heart of mine's beating for you. You and will you ever know my love grows stronger and stronger for you. So, hey, girl, if you only knew how much this heart of mine's beating for you. You and will you ever know my love grows stronger and stronger for you. So, check it out. These feelings that I have for you can't compare to the things that you do for me. Cause baby,
Juan Bora comments in here, what's the secret about adobo? Maybe this pork adobo. You have had pork adobo, right? It's good. It's usually all about the same, but maybe this pork adobo, this might be the one. Right? Maybe you try this with pork adobo and you're like, oh, you could get married. 7:05. Good morning, honey, guys. It's Monday, May 16th. Mayor Jesse Alex on the way here for our weekly check-in with the Mayor's Council of Guam. Right now, Robert Celestial, Pacific Area Radiation Survivors, joins us in the KUAM News Link Zoom room. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, Chris.
Right on. How's your cholesterol? We're having pork adobo for breakfast.
That's too early for me.
I'll put some baluta in you some. 7:05. Robert, so we always get you on whenever there's any kind of development or update with the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act. And I know you sent me a text late last week that there was actually a development, and so we just always want to get you on to share it with the audience, Robert. So go ahead.
Well, I appreciate it, Chris. And what it is, what it means for Guam is that we are in two bills. The Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, where the two bills will include certain states, Navajo Nation, uranium miners, and Guam to be compensated and receive the benefits from this program with health benefits and $150,000 for those that were affected on Guam during 1946 to 1962. You were here on Guam for 1 year. So the sunset provision passed in the year 2000 gave it 22 years. And so the 22 years is coming up in July of this year. And so what we tried to do is extend it for another 2 years so we could get these two bills passed in Congress. And so Senator Lee from Utah and Senator Crapo, Senator Lujan, and Congresswoman Fernandez from New Mexico and Congressman Owens actually passed both bills in the House and the Senate, the extension for 2 years. So it gives us 2 years to try and get those two bills, HR 5338 and Senate Bill 2798, to pass. Because if they didn't extend it for another 2 years, Chris, we'd be at a great loss in July of this year. And that's just in a month. Because July 9th, it's only 9 days, and then you have June, and then the ending of May. And so the program will completely end. So by the grace of God, we got it passed by the Frontline Community Group, the RICA group, and all those lobbyists in Congress, the Navajo Nation, President Ness, and even our local government helped. And so, and PARS. And I want to extend a thank you to the people of Guam for hanging in there for 20 years. And we've been trying to get this bill passed for those that were exposed to nuclear fallout over those during that time frame.
Right on, Robert. Can we go over the eligibility requirements and what type of compensation is going to be available?
Yes, in the amendments, if it's passed, we'll give health benefits for certain types of cancers and chronic diseases, and $150,000 to those that are eligible. The Department of Justice will adjudicate all the claimants, and all they have to do is just apply when the bill is passed. And there's numerous cancers and leukemia, and they didn't approve chronic lymphocytic leukemia. On this go around, we're going to try and get it in this amendment. So we're trying to get that leukemia to be compensated also.
What's the next step then, Robert?
The next step is to try and get our local government, our governor, our congressman, and the legislature, and the people of Guam to support both bills. We had a frontline community meeting last Friday, and so the Navajo Nation and certain people have decided that they're going there in June 20th to have a press conference, meet senators and congressmen, and they already have a schedule. And so they've invited other people if they wanted to go. The frontline community, like Tona Henderson, Tina Cordova, Mary Dickerson, and others, we decided that we also are going to try and plan a trip to Washington and do the same. So that's the plan. We're going to go lobby Congress.
Robert, so the eligibility, it covers a certain amount of years, right? Again, what's that the years?
1946 to 1962.
And
so if you were in that time frame and you were here for at least 1 year, then you may, and you have the disease, the compensable disease, then you may apply for the compensation. And so that's what we're praying that we get through.
Robert, do you have data on how many potential people would be eligible for this compensation? So it's a 16-year window, and then what is compensable is there's a list of, gosh, Robert, is it over 20 different cancers?
I believe it's 19. If you like, I can read it out.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, the first one is on the amendment, it'll be chronic lymphocytic leukemia. It'll be cancer of the urinary bladder, multiple melanoma, cancer of the colon, cancer of the pharynx, cancer of the thyroid, lymphomas other than Hodgkin's disease, cancer of the pancreas, cancer of the small intestine, cancer of the male or female breast, cancer of salivary gland, cancer of the bile ducts, cancer of the brain, cancer of the liver, except if there's evidence of cirrhosis or hepatitis B, cancer of the stomach, cancer of the gallbladder, cancer of the lung, cancer of the ovaries, and in the bottom it says, and other chronic diseases.
So we're talking about a 16-year window, 19 different cancers that are believed to be linked to the radioactive fallout from the nuclear detonation over the Marshall Islands, right, Robert? So how many?
Yeah.
Do you know how many cases we could be looking at here?
Well, Congress always asks us that question, and even Utah, Nevada, and New Mexico and Idaho, we don't have the numbers. We just tell them that you passed this bill in 1990, you amended it in 2000, and those questions were never asked back then. And so it was to give compassionate payments to those who were affected, and gives them a partial restitution. And the people of Guam was inundated with so much radiation that was kept secret, Chris, till 1994 when it was declassified. Nobody knew about it. And even with the declassification in 1994, and I came out in 2001, it was a very, very hard pill to swallow, even for our government. And so over the years, they've jumped on board. And so they realized that, yes, the people of Guam were affected. And we're seeing the effects even today with all these numerous diseases here in Guam. And we really need this benefit, especially the health benefits. I know it's kind of almost late, but at least we've been recognized. And we are recognized right now because we've been in the bill for so many years.
Right.
Guam has.
Robert, I wanted to ask, with this, the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, right, and the amount of people who are eligible for it, and anybody who might be listening, they might be just a little confused jumping into the conversation because there's so many moving parts of this, right? We have the RECA extension, which was granted, right, but then we've still got two bills. Can you just give us the status of those two bills, where they are, and how you think they'll do, their chances of passing? Just for people who are just kind of jumping in and wondering, can I apply now? Do I get the compensation? Just, the status of where we're at.
Yes, I understand their questions. Is that HR 5338 was introduced by Congresswoman Fernandez from New Mexico to include Guam, New Mexico, Idaho, and the other states that are already included. And so what this bill for so many years have never passed committee. So for the first time this year, it got out of the Judiciary Committee. So it's now in the House. And so that's where our bill is at. It needs to get passed in the House. As for the Senate bill, Senator Durbin, the chairperson of the Judiciary Committee, is waiting, and we believe we got traction because Senate Bill 2798 has not gotten a committee hearing. It got a committee hearing in 2018 when I was invited to testify before the Judiciary Committee, but that was with Senator Crapo as the chairperson. At this time, Senator Durbin is now the chairperson for the Judiciary Committee. And so hopefully we could get the 10 other Republican votes because there's 50-50 in the Senate and it needs to get passed. So that's why the delay is in the Senate. Now, the 2-year extension just extends the program for another 2 years. So gives us a great opportunity to get those 2 bills passed in Congress now. That if we didn't get the extension, right, this program would have ended in July and a month and a half.
And we wouldn't even be talking about these bills because it would just be moot, right?
Yes. And then we'd probably have to start from ground zero again. Yes.
Right on, Robert. Robert, can you put out your contact info if people listening curious about how they can find out more information, or maybe just get a hold of you so that they can get these updates as they happen?
Sure. If anyone calls you, you can give them my number, or just go to parsguamdownwinders@gmail.com.
Got it. Robert, thank you. It's always a pleasure having you on. If anything else happens, you let me know. Shoot me a text and we'll get you back on.
Yeah, and I like chicken adobo, man.
Chicken. I'm more of a chicken adobo guy myself. I don't know if Dr. Hoa wants me to be eating pork adobo in the morning or at night.
Okay,
thank you,
Chris.
Robert. That's the.
Okay, God bless.
Oh boy. Hey, good morning. Let's take a break, sir. Okay. 7:17. We're back with more of The Link next. Good morning.
KUAM Communication is your go-to source. Subscribe to our KUAM News Digest.